Hello, my dear children. Myself Sujata. In today's session, we'll be dealing a part of Chapter 1 French Revolution from History. What is history? We see change before our eyes, but do not always ask why are things changing. History is about tracking these changes, understanding how and why they are taking place, how the present world in which we live has evolved. History has always served the objectives of getting familiarized with distinct ideologies, extracts of speeches, political declarations, ideas of people that inspired revolution, the history of revolution, and how it helped in shaping the politics of modern world. Poetically, we can say what happens today becomes a history tomorrow. Section 1 Events and Processes. You will read about the French Revolution, socialism in Europe and Russian Revolution, and the rise of Nazism. In different ways, all these events were important in the making of the modern world. Ideas of liberty, freedom, and equality, which are taken for granted in the modern times, also have a history. By looking at the French Revolution, you will read a small part of that history which led to the end of monarchy in France. Monarchy is when a nation or state is ruled by a king or undivided rule by a single person. I am taking you to the morning of 14 July 1789 to the city of Paris. Paris is capital of France. The city of Paris was in a state of alarm. That is, people felt that something unpleasant or dangerous thing was going to happen. The King of France had commanded troops to move into the city. Rumors spread that he would soon order the army to open fire upon the citizens. People became agitated, aggressive, or angry. Some 7,000 men and women gathered in front of the town hall and decided to form a people's militia. Militia means activities in opposition to a regular army. So they decided to oppose the regular army. They broke into a number of government buildings in search of arms or weapons. Finally, a group of several hundred people marched towards the eastern part of the city and stormed the fortress prison, the Bastille, where they hoped to find hoarded ammunition. Ammunition means the arms. Hoarded means preserved. They thought that in this fortress prison they had hoarded ammunition. In the armed fight that followed, the commander of the Bastille was killed and the prisoners released, though there were only 7 of them. Yet the Bastille was hated by all because it stood for the despotic power of the king. As you know, if people are satisfied with the rule by a king, they are happy. Otherwise, they hate the king. The fortress was demolished and its stone fragments were sold in the markets to all those who wished to keep a souvenir of its destruction. As this was an historic event, they stormed the fortress prison, and to remember it, they decided to keep a souvenir of it. The days that followed saw more rioting both in Paris and the countryside. Most people were protesting against the high price of bread. Much later, when historians looked back upon this time, they saw it as the beginning of a chain of events that ultimately led to the execution of the king in France. Though most people at the time did not anticipate this outcome, let us know how and why did this happen. For that, we should know about the French society of the late 18th century, the reign of Louis XVI. In 1774, Louis XVI of the Bourbon family of kings ascended the throne of France. He was only 20 years old and he was married to the Austrian princess Marie Antoinette. The king was awkward and clumsy, while the queen was irresponsible and spent huge amounts on clothes. The royal family lived in luxury at the Palace of Versailles. Let us discuss about the causes of French Revolution. It can be categorized as social causes, political causes, and economic causes. Now we'll discuss about political causes which resulted in French Revolution. The king during accession found an empty treasury. Long years of war had drained the financial resources of France. Added to this was the cost of maintaining an extravagant court at the immense palace of Versailles. Under Louis XVI, France helped 13 American colonies to gain their independence from the common enemy Britain. The war added more than a billion livres to a debt that had already risen to more than 2 billion livres. Livre means the unit of currency in France and which was discontinued in the year 1794. Let us know about the American War of Independence. 13 colonies, also known as the 13 British colonies or the 13 American colonies, were a group of colonies of Great Britain on the Atlantic coast of America. Both Americans and French were against the discriminating and unfair taxation system and they wanted to be independent. These colonies became independent and formed the United States of America in the year 1776. The French who participated in the war themselves were both close allies and key participants. Now let us look into the social cause. The French Society of Estates, the society was divided into three estates. The peasants made 90% of the population. Only a small number of them owned the land they cultivated. About 60% of the land was owned by the nobles, the church, and other richer members of the third estate. The members of the first two estates, that is, the clergy and the nobility, enjoyed certain privileges by birth. Most importantly, they were exempted from paying taxes to the state. Thus, the burden of financing activities of the state through taxes was borne by the third estate alone. So, just look into the categorization of the French Society of Estates. First estate includes the clergy, that are the church officials. Second estate, the nobility, the king, ministers, etc. Third estate again categorized into three. The first includes big businessmen, merchants, court officials, lawyers, etc. Then comes the peasants and artisans. And last, the small peasants, landless labor servants. The nobles further enjoyed feudal privileges. These included feudal dues, which they extracted from the peasants. Peasants were obliged to render services to the lord. They had to work in his house, fields, and had to serve in the army or to participate in building roads. The church too extracted its share of taxes called tithes from the peasants. Direct tax called tille and number of indirect taxes which were levied on articles of everyday consumption like salt or tobacco. Tithe means a tax levied by the church comprising 1/10 of the agricultural produce. Tille means tax to be paid directly to the state. Okay, now we will move on to the economic cause, or we call it as the subsistence crisis. Population of France rose from 23 million in 1715 to 28 million in 1789. This led to demand for food grains. Production of grains could not keep pace with the demand, so price of bread, which was the staple diet of the majority, rose rapidly. Most workers were employed as laborers in workshops, whose owner fixed their wages. Wages did not keep pace with the rise in prices. Thus, the gap between the rich and the poor widened. Situation became worse when drought or hail reduced the harvest. This led to subsistence crisis. Subsistence crisis occurred frequently in France during the old regime. Let us know what is the subsistence crisis. Subsistence crisis is an extreme situation where the basic means of livelihood are endangered. We'll have a closer understanding of it with the help of a flowchart. How a subsistence crisis happens. When there is a bad harvest, you know that there will be scarcity of grains. Unavailability of food grains in turn results in rise of food prices. So, the poorest can no longer buy bread. In turn, it results in food riots and weaker bodies. And there occur series of disease epidemics and number of death also increases. In the background of these crises, we can see a growing middle class who envisages an end to the privileges enjoyed by the church and the nobility. Middle class is a social group that emerged in the 18th century. They earned their wealth through an expanding overseas trade and the manufacture of goods such as woolen and silk textiles, were either exported or bought by the richer members of the society. The third estate also included the professions such as lawyers or administrative officials. All of these were educated and believed that no group in society should be privileged by birth. Rather, a person's social position must depend on his merit. And they were really inspired by the ideas of a society based on freedom and equal rights for all put forth by philosophers. The philosopher John Locke, in his book Two Treatises of Government, sought to refute the doctrine of the divine and absolute right of the monarch. Doctrine of divine or the divine right of kings asserts that a monarch is subject to no earthly authority and derives the right to rule directly from the will of God. Refute means to prove a statement or theory to be wrong or false. Jean-Jacques Rousseau proposed a form of government based on a social contract between people and their representatives. Rousseau put forth the democratic principle that each member would have one vote. Montesquieu, in his book The Spirit of the Laws, proposed a division of power within the government between the legislative, executive, and the judiciary. This model of government was put into force in the USA after the 13 colonies declared their independence from Britain. Thus, the American Constitution and its guarantee of individual rights was an important example for political thinkers in France. Now, let us see how these ideas got propagated. The ideas of these philosophers were discussed intensively in common places like saloons and coffee houses, and even it spread among people through books and newspapers. They were frequently read aloud in groups for those who could not read and write. All these resulted in the outbreak of French Revolution and even the news that Louis XVI planned to impose further taxes to be able to meet the expenses of the state generated anger and protest against the system of privileges. Let's recap. We have learned what is history, what are the causes of French Revolution, social, political and economic. French society in 18th century, the society of estates, the growing middle class who envisaged an end to the privileges of monarch and nobles. In the next session, we'll be learning about the outbreak of French Revolution. Thank you.